Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and today we are going to work on a slideshow program. This is going to allow us to create a slideshow in our web page that we can click through. Again, we're going to strip out all of the extra tools that help us to design web pages. We're going to stick mainly with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We're going to do very bare bones stuff today. I just want you guys to see how this stuff kind of works. So what I've done is I've created a new project. I have my index page. I've gotten rid of the other two pages. I have a couple of pictures here. So I have pictures from The Mandalorian, the TV show. Now what I've done is I've made sure these are all the same exact aspect ratio or the same resolution. They're 800 by 600. And you can do that just by searching, whatever you're looking for, 800 by 600. It doesn't have to be exactly 800 by 600. That's just what I've chosen because it's important for the design for the pictures to all be the same size. That way it makes it look better. Anyway, so I've brought those three in. And now we're going to create a web page that allows us to display those as a slideshow. So let me change this here real quick. Sorry, my nose is itchy. I got an itchy nose. Okay, let me change the title here. This will be The Mandalorian. Yeah, yours can be about anything you want. I'm just, Mandalorian, as of the time of this recording, Mandalorian Season 2 is going on, and I'm waiting for the whole show to be done so I can watch it all in one thing, so it's just kind of on my mind. So I'm going to make my slideshow about the Mandalorian. Okay, let's start with the HTML. What we're going to want is, I have caps lock on for some reason. We're going to want a div, and let's apply some classes to it. Now, just like last time, I'm going to create some classes later, but for now, we can just access those classes here. So we're going to have a div that's going to be the container for the slideshow itself. And then we will have a separate div for each of our pictures. So this is going to be equals my slides. And we're also going to attach a fade class to it as well. All right. Now inside of there, we're going to have a couple of divs. We're going to have one that has the class associated with it, number text. Now this is going to allow us to put some text on our slide. Let's just do number 1 of 3. Yeah, that'll work. And we'll close out that div. And then we will put an image element in here. Image src is going to be equal to mando1.jpg. So mine's mando1.jpg style, and we will set the style to say width is 100%. Oh, 100%. There we go. All right, so the other thing I need in there is I need some caption text. So let's create another div class equals, and we'll say text. And then we'll say, let's see, what is Mando 1? It's just a shot of the Mandalorian. All right. We'll just call this the Mandalorian. Okay. And now I need to close off this div. Now, basically, it's going to be the same thing for the other two. So I'm just going to copy and paste this twice. And then this is going to be 2 of 3. This will be mando2.jpg. And this, I believe, is, yep, there's our baby Yoda. Which, okay, so apparently we know his name already, but I don't because I haven't been watching the show. So I'm still going to call him Baby Yoda. All right. And then here it's going to be 3 of 3, Mando 3. And I'm going to call this the gang. All right. So then we have our 3 pictures here. Now, the other thing that we're going to want are arrows that allow us to move from slide to slide. Let's test this out to see how this looks. Okay, so far, let's take a look here. We have all three of our pictures showing up with the captions and, you know, the 3 of 3, 2 of 3, all that's showing up the way it's supposed to. All right, good. Now, we're going to want some arrows to move from slide to slide here. So I'm going to create a couple of anchor elements. Class equals prev for previous, on click equals plus slides -1. Okay, so that on click, what that's going to do is that's going to basically run a method inside of our JavaScript, and we're passing in some arguments. So you'll see that whenever we go to develop our JavaScript. Now, what I want in there is this string of random characters. Let me show you. So ampersand, # 10094, semicolon. That's the code for a symbol, specifically the left arrow symbol. Okay, now for the right arrow symbol, and for our next, we're going to do this. Next, and on click plus slides, we want to add in 1, and then instead of 94, it'll be 95. Okay, so all of that's good, but now we need to close off our main container div. Okay, so now all of that's good to go right there. All right, next let's get into our CSS. Let's actually start styling this page a little bit. So let's go up to our CSS. There's going to be a lot of style code that we need to write here. So let's get into it. Style. All right. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is let's think about the code we want to change for everything on our page. What we want is we want our box sizing to be border hyphen box, okay? And we want that to apply to every single item on the page. Then in our body, let's set the font family to be Verdana. All right, yeah, that'll work. I'm okay with that. And then let's set a margin of 0 on the body. Okay, so now we have to start creating some classes. Let's create the My Slides class first. So in the My Slides class, we're just going to say display equals none. Display none. All right, we don't want the slide to display yet. Let's say, let's vertical align our images. Vertical align, middle. All right. So now our images will be vertically aligned in the middle. Okay. So now we want to start, let's create the class for our slideshow container. Slideshow container. Okay, so here's what we want. We want max width to be 1000 pixels. We might play around with that later, but we'll see. And we want the position to be relative. Oop. Okay, and then we also want to center it on the page, so margin auto. All right, now let's get into our previous and next buttons. So prev and next. Oop. We'll code these both at the same time. Cursor is going to be pointer. Position will be absolute. We're going to do 50% from the top, so it's centered vertically. Its width will be auto. Let's do padding, 16 pixels. All right. Margin top is going to be -22 pixels. Now we're doing that because we want it to be centered, but if there's a margin, it's going to push it down even further. So we're going to subtract the margin up 22 pixels because our thing is going to be 22 pixels big. Anyway, color will be white, so it stands out. Font weight will be bold. And font size will be 18 pixels. Oh. And okay, transition. This is something we haven't really dealt with yet, but transitions are, it's an animation trigger. And we're going to kind of do a little bit of animations here. So we're going to do 0.6 seconds with an ease. Border radius is going to be 0, 3 pixels, 3 pixels, and 0. And then user select will be none. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so those are the common things that we need for those two classes. Now we need to focus on the separate things they need. So let's do the next. So next is going to be floated to the right. So right is going to be 0. And border radius is going to be 3 pixels. 0, 0, 3 pixels. Sorry, I got a hair on my microphone there. And then for the previous class, we just need to set the... Oh no, we need to do previous hover. That's what we need to do. Previous and next hover. So let's do previous hover, and I believe we can do, yeah, we can do next hover at the same time. All right, so when we hover over these, we want to change the background color to be RGBA. We'll do 0, 0, 0, and then 0.8. Oh, so that's black with a little bit of see-through. Okay, a couple more classes to create. Let's create the text class. All right, this is going to be color. Let's make it F2, F2, F2. Oh, forgot my semicolon. All right. And font size is 15 pixels. Padding is going to be 8 pixels by 12 pixels. Position, absolute. Absolute, yeah, okay. Bottom, 8 pixels. Width will be 100%. And text, align will be center. Okay. Beautiful. So that's the text class. Now we also want the number text. Let's do the number text class. Number text class. All right. Color will be F2, F2, F2. Font size will be 12 pixels. Padding is 8 pixels by 12 pixels. Position is absolute. And top will be 0. Okay, now let's see. We have number text, we have text, we have all of that. Do we have... I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything here. Oh, you know what? I did kind of miss something down here. So after this div, we actually want some more stuff. We want more HTML. Let's do a break here, and then let's create a new div. Style is going to be equal to text align center. And what we're going to do is we're going to just basically create some dots. Dot on click so that way if you click the dot it'll take you to the corresponding picture in the slideshow. It's just an easier way to get through the content. So we'll just create one of those dots for each slide. Okay. Let me check my notes here to see if I missed any other. Nope. Okay, perfect. So now let's go up and create the dot class. Oh. Okay, for the dot class, we're going to do cursor is pointer. Height is going to be 15 pixels. Width is going to be 15 pixels. Let's do margin is going to be 0, 2 pixels. Background color, we'll make that BBB. Display is going to be inline block. Transition, oh, I totally spelled that wrong. Transition. Background color 0.6 S with an ease. All right. Now we need to set the dot active and dot comma hover, colon hover, sorry, because we just want to change the background color 71, 71, 71. All right. Now we need to create the fading animation. So we're going to do an animation that allows a fade dot fade. All right. Now in this we need to invoke the WebKit animation. We're going to call in the fade animation. All right. Duration 1.5 seconds. Animation name. .5 seconds. Okay, so that's our fade animation. Now we need to set up the keyframes for our animation. We're going to go from an opacity of 0.4 to an opacity of 1. So basically what that's doing is it's saying for this animation, we want to fade from, basically from 0.4 to 1, changing the opacity as we go. And we can just copy this thing as well. We'll just copy it again. And we'll put the @ sign in front of this. Now the reason why we do both of these is because the WebKit is our standard protocol, but sometimes the WebKit isn't recognized, so we have a backup here. Okay, I think that's it for CSS. That's a lot of CSS to get through. All right, now let's get into JavaScript. We are 20 minutes into the video and we haven't even started JavaScript yet. Luckily, there's not a lot of JavaScript to deal with here. So let's go under our HTML and create a script tag. And okay. Oh. So the first thing we need to do is set a variable. And we're going to call this slide index. We'll set it equal to 1. We are going to call a method or a function called slide index, or called show slides. And then we're going to pass in the value of slide index 1. So let's go ahead and write, well, we'll write that method later, or that function. Let's write this function first, plus slides. And we need to pass in an argument. Now this function is going to invoke the show slides function as well. And it's going to be the slide index plus equals n. Basically, whenever we hit the arrow key, it's going to go to the next slide. All right. Then we need a function which is essentially the same as this, but instead of plus slides, it's going to be current slide. And it's going to be basically this equals n, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it for those. Then we need to create our show slides function that we've been calling here. So function show slides. All right, so we're going to set var equal to I. And actually, I'm not going to do that yet. I will do that inside the for loop. Okay, var slides equals document dot get element by class, get elements by class name, my slides. All right, let's scoot this over a little bit so that's all on one line. Perfect. Var dots is going to be document dot get elements by class name, and that's going to be dot. So if n slides dot length then we'll say slide index equals 1. So basically, yeah, if n is greater than the slide's length, then the slide index equals 1. And then we'll do almost the exact same logic here, just in reverse. If n is less than 1, then slide index equals slides dot length. Okay, I'm trying to remember if this is the correct way to do. Yes, if n is greater than slide's length, then we go back to slide 1. If n is less than 1, then we go to the last thing. We go to the last slide in the index. All right, that makes sense. That's just making sure that we don't go past the amount of slides that we have. Okay, now time for our for loop. So for, in here I'll say var I equals 0. So I like to declare the variable within the for loop. It makes it a little bit easier. I dots dot, no, not dots, I want slides. Length I plus plus. Okay. Slides I dot style dot display none. So we're basically going to loop through all of the slides and turn them off. Basically say we don't want to show any slide. We want them all turned off. And we can do the same thing here for dots. Basically we can just copy, hello, paste. Instead of I, I'm going to use J so that we don't get our variables confused. And then here we're going to say dots J dot class name equals dots J class name dot replace active. Basically, that's just going to replace the class that's attached to that dot, to those dots. All right. Okay, perfect. Now we need to get into the business of actually displaying our slides. So slides, slide index -1, style dot display equals block. And then dots slide index -1 dot class name plus equals active. Okay. That should be it, I believe. Let's go ahead and test it out and see if it works. Let's run. Okay, so we have our, make this a bit bigger here. So we have our slide counter up here. We have our arrows, which work really well. We have our text, and then we have our dots here. Let's try our arrows first. Actually, let's get rid of, yeah, let's, uh-oh. Something didn't go well. Something didn't go right. We're adding slides, but we're not setting them. We need to disable when we go to the next one. So what did we miss? What did we miss? Okay, that's good. I know what it was. Okay, so I was trying to be cool and create my variables in here, but it's actually better if we use the same variable for both, because this handles execution of that idea a lot better. So let's go back and change all the J's to I's, create a variable up here called I, and let's run it and see if that works. Nope, still adding. but not setting the old one to be inactive. Weird. So when I push that, we're going to plus slides. So when I push, okay, let's take a look here. Plus slides, it's the same. When I click next, we're going to pass in 1. The slide index becomes 1. So that's kind of working. Interesting. Let's try to put a space in front of active and see if that helps. Nope, didn't help at all. Just keeps adding those it doesn't get rid of. Oh, I misspelled length. Well, no wonder. There we go. Okay, so I found my error. So notice we have a fade animation, which is working well. The fade looks good. We can flip through our pictures. Everything looks perfectly fine. Everything works the way it's supposed to. I just missed the N there. So, you know, okay. Make sure you spell things correctly or you'll have an error like I did and you'll be embarrassed and it'll make your video last longer than it should have because we're almost 32 minutes long. And a bunch of that was spent troubleshooting stuff I shouldn't have to troubleshoot. I'm going to let you go because I've taken up enough of your time. Please have fun with this project and I will see you next time. Peace.